This is Valley View News. Boston holds a funeral for one of the people killed in the marathon bombings.
I'll stay with some friends and have them walk with me.
CSU police are assuring students about campus safety.
My wife decided to clean the house up.
And a recycling event in Echo Park encourages people to carefully dispose of their e-waste.
Hello and welcome to Valley View News. I'm Ashley Luke.
And I'm Gina Hernandez.
The federal government filed 2 charges against Boston Marathon bombing suspect Jahar Tsarnaev. The charges could result in the death penalty if Tsarnaev is convicted. The 19-year-old was charged with 1 count of using a weapon of mass destruction. Tsarnaev made his initial appearance Monday before a judge in the suspect's hospital room. The developments came the same day as Boston held a moment of silence to honor victims of the Boston Marathon bombings. Bells began to ring to mark the first of 2 explosions near the finish line in Copley Square. Private funerals and memorial services were also held last week for Crystal Campbell, Lou Lindsay, Martin Richardson, and Sean Collier.
The terrorist bombing in Boston left people all over the country examining their safety programs and procedures.
College campuses are working to assure students that they are safe. Vianney Arana joins us in the newsroom to report on CSUN security.
Like other campuses, Cal State Northridge makes safety one of its priorities. School officials say training and security help keep students safe. Students at Cal State Northridge are surrounded by approximately 20,000 to 30,000 people on any given day. With such a large population and campus, safety is always a priority amongst school officials. Many students on campus say they feel safe for the most part.
Actually, I do. Sometimes.
Yeah.
The Public Information Officer for the University Police Department at CSUN, Cristina Villalobos, says education and training are key components in safety.
I'm confident that we're prepared to deal with a situation like that. We practice and train our officers for those types of incidents, and even though it's something that we wish never to happen, we're prepared to react and to respond to that.
During the day, the campus is full of students, but when the sun goes down, the hallways quiet down. Students say they take extra precautions when walking to their car or dorm at night.
I have this thing on my keychain. Punch people with.
I'll stay with some friends and have them walk with me.
I have my pepper spray.
Pepper spray might be a good idea. They are designed to cause extreme eye irritation to distract your attacker while you get away and call for help. Emergency blue towers are located throughout the college campus. If you ever feel unsafe or threatened, you simply push the emergency button, a flashing light comes on, and authorities are immediately notified of your location. The campus also offers Matador Patrol, a group of individuals in red jackets who identify themselves and walk students that may feel uneasy about walking alone.
They have the escort service. Yeah. I've used them twice, and they've walked me all the way to my apartment since I'm not that far.
If at any time you're ever concerned about your safety, please let us know about that. Trust your instincts. If there's anything you wish to report it. Don't think that anything is too small or insignificant for us to know.
When a crime alert does happen, the school sends out mass text messages and emails to all students and staff on campus warning them about any possible danger. No recent threats have been made at CSUN. Campus police say anyone who sees suspicious activity can call police dispatch on campus at 818-677-2111 and, of course, 911. Police dispatch are available 24/7. Back to you in the studio.
5 people were killed and more than a dozen injured when an SUV crashed near the U.S.-Mexico border in Vail, Arizona. Officials say the SUV was carrying at least 18 passengers. The driver of the Chevy Tahoe refused to pull over for Border Patrol officers at an immigration checkpoint. The SUV lost control on a highway exit ramp and rolled before coming to a stop. The injured were rushed to a nearby hospital, many in serious condition.
Santa Monica police have arrested 4 suspects in connection to a kidnapping and robbery at a beach area hotel. Authorities say they received a call from a guest at the Seaview Hotel alerting them something was going on in another room. Upon arrival, officers found the suspects fleeing out of the window. Victims say they were being kidnapped and robbed. 2 of the victims were injured and treated at a local hospital.
Having the right information can save lives and time for unexpected emergencies. The CSUN Department of Police Services hosted an emergency preparedness and crime prevention expo to provide the CSUN community with information about personal safety awareness. The quick safety demonstrations on Cleary Walk were the closest real-life examples of how to prepare for and prevent emergencies. Many vendors, including the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power and the U.S. Forest Service, were set up to provide handouts and reenactments of common situations and solutions. One U.S. Forest Service worker says people can enjoy the forest, but being responsible is a priority.
One thing that we like to stress to the public is when you do go out into the national forest, and when you go out there you have picnics or barbecuing or even camping out there, which we all like to enjoy. But one of the most important things is make sure you put out your campfire properly.
Electricity, the main thing to remember is that it always wants to find its way back down to the ground.
Another worker from the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power provided common scenarios of electrical hazards around the house.
It's seeking that path to ground. It's taking it down through the antenna, through the person's body, down through the house and down to the ground.
Even hanging branches can cause accidents when wires are too close. CSUN Emergency and Management Preparedness Coordinator Kit Espinoza says it took 6 months of work to have the partnership of many vendors for the expo.
This expo helps to bring information to our faculty, staff, and students and our neighbors about those issues and things they can do to help themselves as far as disaster preparedness, safety awareness, and things like that. So it helps to make us a resilient community.
The expo is offered every year during the semester to inform and prepare people about safety precautions and crime. In Northridge for Valley View News, this is Ashley Luke.
Royal Canadian Mounted Police have arrested 2 men suspected of plotting a major terrorist attack. Authorities say the Al-Qaeda suspects planned to murder passengers by derailing a Canadian train. Police say the suspects had the capacity to carry out the attack, but the public was not in danger. A CNN source says there is no link between the Canadian case and the Boston bombings. The suspects are scheduled to appear in court next week.
Survivors of the 7.0 earthquake that hit China are now being housed in shelters. The earthquake hit the Chinese province of CSUN and killed at least 188 people and injured more than 1,000. More than 2,000 aftershocks rumbled through the area after the quake. The aftershocks caused massive boulders to fall, blocking roads in severely affected areas. Bodies were buried under the rubble. This video shows volunteers rescuing a person from fallen debris. This is the second large earthquake CSUN has seen in 5 years. The 7.9 quake in 2008 killed more than 87,000 people.
UCLA has become the first campus in the UC system to enact a campus-wide ban on tobacco. This includes cigarettes, pipes, cigars, chewing tobacco, and even smokeless electronic cigarettes. The school is providing support for students, including counseling and aids such as nicotine patches to help people quit. More than 1,000 colleges across the nation have banned tobacco. The UC ban came after President Mark Yudof called for all UCs to ban tobacco by 2014.
Los Angeles medical marijuana advocates have a new enemy. The activists are fighting each other over 3 competing measures to regulate dispensaries. Proposition D, Measure F, and Initiative Ordinance E are all on the May 21st city ballot. Each one favors either new or older pot dispensaries, or would raise taxes on medical marijuana. It turns out some shops would benefit or lose depending on which one of the measures passes. If none of the 3 measures receive at least 50% of the vote, they all fail.
A recent poll shows mayoral candidate Eric Garcetti leads contender Wendy Girl by about 10 percentage points. The runoff election is set for May 21st. Girl has been appealing to women voters by highlighting that if she wins, she'll be LA's first female mayor. But many of the women surveyed preferred Garcetti over Girl. Poll results show that both younger and Latino voters also favor Garcetti. Voters indicated confidence in Garcetti over Girl in handling traffic jobs, mass transit, crime, and public safety. Fewer voters showed support for Girl's promise to hire more police officers, firefighters, and paramedics.
Hundreds of people in the Antelope Valley wound up with sore feet, but they were happy about it. They were walking in a charity event to observe Autism Awareness Month. Valley View reporter Fanny Cano was there and joins us now in the studio.
Autism is a group of brain disorders which impairs the ability of people to socialize and communicate. Autism affects more than 2 million Americans.
Irene and Kevin Lambert are one of the many families who are dealing with autism. After being diagnosed at the age of 8, Kevin always knew he was different.
My friends would say all these jokes and they're all laughing. I'm like, well, what's so funny about it? I don't get what's so funny. So I guess that's when I realized that that's when they started treating me differently.
His mother says life has been tough for him.
He can't stand it. You know, like if we go to Walmart during the Christmas holidays, he'll say, Mom, I gotta go now.
Autism now affects 1 in 88 children and 1 in 54 boys. Director of the Autism Clinic at Cal State Northridge, Dr. Deborah Malmberg, says the faster autism is detected, the better it is for the patient.
And we see that children with autism can make great strides. So as long as they're getting that intervention early and very intensely. So we know that early intervention is critically important for children with autism.
Autism has become the fastest growing developmental disability here in the United States. Experts say it is important to have events like this one, such as the 5th annual Antelope Valley Autism Walk, to raise awareness and help families whose lives have been affected by this disorder.
I think it's extremely important for everyone to be aware of autism because it's something that's growing within our community.
Here, families walk together and programs came out to show their support. Autism has not slowed down Kevin. He is the first college graduate in his family.
Proud of him. I'm very proud of him.
Autism experts say some ways to help families cope with autism is being supportive, staying informed, and getting to know people with autism. I'm Fanny Cano. Thank you, and back to you.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reports that infant mortality in the U.S. has dropped by 12% since 2005. The biggest improvement in infant survival is throughout southern states, but Mississippi and Alabama still have the highest mortality rates in the nation. There's also improvement in African American infant survival rate. Infant death is usually caused by low birth weight, birth defects, and sudden infant death syndrome. The study links higher survival rates to improve medical care and increased awareness of possible complications.
Coming up, both Lakers and Clippers start their playoff run.
We'll tell you about Reese Witherspoon's arrest and Stars Go Green for Earth Day.
Do you like this top? It's so gay. Really? Yeah, it's totally gay.
You know, you really shouldn't say that.
Say what?
Well, say that something's gay when you mean it's bad. It's insulting. What if every time something was bad, everybody said, oh, that's so girl wearing a skirt as a top?
Oh, you are.
Those are cute jeans, though. When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off.
Oh, those boys are much too much. Those boys are much too much. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We're going to beat them and bust them.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Let's get a little bit rowdy. R-O-W-D-Y.
Take time to be a dad today. Call or visit fatherhood.gov to learn more.
Sports now with Jonathan Gonzalez. Jonathan, it seems the Lakers couldn't wait to start the playoffs.
They really couldn't, and their fans couldn't wait either. You know, it seems like just yesterday, Dwight Howard was finally in a Laker uniform. Future Hall of Famer Steve Nash was going to take over that Derek Fisher role. With Kobe Bryant and Pau Gasol coming in healthy, Meta World Peace was talking about winning a record 73 games. Then the season started, and it became more about making the playoffs than anything else. For Lakers fans, Game 1 against the San Antonio Spurs couldn't have started any sooner. And the game did start, and Lakers fans were in dismay again. Howard and Gasol combined for 36 points and 31 rebounds, but it wasn't enough to stop San Antonio's trio of Duncan, Ginobili, and Parker. Lakers lose Game 1, 91-79. The man many Lakers fans wish was still on their bench, Phil Jackson, was reportedly offered a job to be the next coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cavs have reached out to Jackson to replace Byron Scott. It wasn't the first time the two parties have spoken. After his first departure from the Lakers, Jackson interviewed for a coaching gig with Cleveland back in 2005, but the Cavs obviously went with Mike Brown, who was also reportedly a candidate for the Cleveland job. Apparently, the Cavaliers love former Lakers. Brown had dinner with Cavs owners Dan Gilbert recently, but he was not officially offered the job. No word yet on whether Jackson is interested. And for the other LA team, they weren't thinking as much about making the playoffs as they were about raising a championship banner. The Clippers are in a rematch with the Memphis Grizzlies, a series that went 7 games last year, but Game 1 this year couldn't have been any more different. Last year, the Clippers needed a 27-point comeback to beat Memphis in Game 1. This year, Game 1 went a lot smoother. Chris Paul scored 23 points and dished 7 assists to make up for Blake Griffin, who only had 10 points on 3 of 9 shooting. But the spark the Clippers needed came from Eric Bledsoe, who added 15 points and 6 rebounds off the bench as Lob City rolled the Grizzlies 112-91. To the Diamond now, where both the Dodgers and Angels have been less than mediocre as of late. The Dodgers in Baltimore for some interleague action, looking to snap a 6-game skid. Remember, there's always at least one interleague matchup throughout the season after Houston moved to the American League. Bottom third with a 3-1 lead, Orioles' Adam Jones goes yard on a solo shot, O's up 4-1. But after climbing back in the fifth, it was Dodgers' Adrian Gonzalez knocked in a double to left to drive in Carl Crawford in from third, tie ball game. Later in the inning, Matt Kemp singles, bringing Mark Ellis home, and the Dodgers never relinquished the lead. The boys in blue win 7-4. And the Angels were home looking to sweep the Tigers. Halos up 3-1 in the fifth when Detroit's Prince Fielder blasts a 2-run shot to right field. That brings in former Angel Torrey Hunter to the plate. Game tied at 3. Ninth inning, Tigers load the bases but failed to bring a runner home. That was the third time they loaded the bases in the game. They stranded 13 batters. The Angels also left 10 men on base. After the Halos failed to get a hit in the ninth, the game went to extras. Bottom 13th, Mark Trumbo up to bat, and that was all the Halos needed. Trumbo blasted a Phil Koch pitch 425 feet to grab the Halos' victory in a sweep over the Tigers 4-3. Hockey now, where the LA Kings found out before they took the ice they clinched the playoffs with the San Jose Sharks loss. First period, Jeff Carter finds Mike Richards open for the goal. Kings up 1-0. Second period, Anze Kopitar finds his captain Dustin Brown, who gets a slap shot past the Dallas goalie to give the Kings a 2-goal edge. But Dallas would actually force overtime. That's when Richards shoots the puck off Jeff Carter's chest. And with less than a minute to go, his 25th of the season, Kings win the game 4-3. And in Anaheim, the Ducks look to end a 4-game skid against the Edmonton Oilers. And fans got a team effort from Cam Fowler, Kyle Palmieri, and Corey Perry. Each scored goals to beat the Oilers 3-1. The Ducks need one more win to clinch the Pacific Division. And legendary sportscaster Al Michaels was arrested in Santa Monica on suspicion of driving under the influence. Police say Michaels made an illegal U-turn. Check this. At a DUI checkpoint. He allegedly had a blood alcohol level of 0.08, the legal limit in California. His current employer, NBC, says it's aware of the situation. The 68-year-old has been ordered to appear in court on June 26th. That does it for me with sports. Back to you.
Now over to Rabia with your latest in entertainment news.
Fox Channel says that Mario Lopez will return as the host of the X Factor third season. Co-host Khloe Kardashian will not be returning. Lopez joined the Fox singing competition show last season alongside Kardashian. The X Factor denies reports the two did not get along. However, Kardashian, in the recent episode of Kourtney and Kim Take Miami, said she couldn't quite get comfortable in her role as a host for the show. H&M introduced its new Conscious collection to support Earth Day. The collection is made up entirely from organic and recycled materials to promote the usage of eco-friendly material. From sleek suits to glamorous gowns, the sustainable clothes have a variety of collection. Actresses Jessica Stroup, Sophia Bush, and Victoria Justice served as models for H&M's collection to promote a green planet. Hollywood couple Reese Witherspoon and husband Jim Toth were arrested in Atlanta. He for drunk driving, she for disturbing the peace. Police report that Toth was over the limit after driving into oncoming traffic. Witherspoon was handcuffed after she jumped out of the car and began shouting at officers. The pair was released afterwards, and an appearance is scheduled in the Atlanta Municipal Court. British clothing and accessories designer Tabitha Webb is using her feminine and summer-ready designs to fund advancements in breast cancer research. Webb has teamed up with e-retail Hotspot and a non-profit group to raise money for breast cancer organizations. The limited edition Sundance dress cost $444 and will be available at My Wardrobe. 30% of each sale will be donated to the non-profit organization. The Tom Cruise sci-fi movie Oblivion was a blockbuster hit at U.S. theaters over the weekend. Ticket sales total more than $38 million. The PG-13 thriller also took in $112 million overseas, giving Tom Cruise another global hit. The well-reviewed baseball drama 42 was second for the weekend, taking in $18 million for a two-week total of $54 million. The Croods were in third place, selling about $9.5 million in tickets for a 5-week total of $155 million. Scary Movie 5 and G.I. Joe Retaliation rounded out the top 5. That's all for your entertainment news. Back to you.
Coming up, we'll show you how babies are learning how to survive or fall into a swimming pool.
and we'll tell you where you can recycle your old electronics.
We don't win unless we work together.
It's how we play our best. It's how we survive on the field.
Now that same teamwork can save 13 million people
affected by the famine, war, and drought in the Horn of Africa.
Go to this site
and forward the facts to everyone you know. The more people who know,
the more money we can raise.
And the more money we raise,
the more people we can help.
Because saving lives doesn't take a lot.
It just takes a lot of us.
It's Timothy Green's first day at school.
What's in there? He's about to fall over.
Anything he might need. There's a box of tissues on the bottom and some Band-Aids. There's a whole first aid kit, actually.
Mom, I can handle it from here.
You don't have to be perfect.
Have a great day.
That's too much pressure.
Have the day you have.
To be a perfect parent.
There are two people in the world who want you more than anything. They'll make some mistakes, but they will love you more than you can ever imagine.
There are thousands of children in foster care who will take you just as you are.
Come here.
I love you, Dad.
Life's funny. I never thought I'd end up at a shelter. But then again, neither did you. Life's funny.
Many of us have old electronics we'd like to throw out. Recycling companies want to make sure we do it properly. One company held an event to encourage people to be responsible and recycle. Valley View's Melanie Shale has the story.
Computers, microwaves, even old television sets. These are just a few electronic items known as e-waste you can recycle. This past weekend, Isidore Recycling held an e-waste collection event in Echo Park. Residents of the area drove up to dump all their unused electronics.
We had a lot of things we didn't know what to do with, and this was just a godsend.
My wife decided to clean the house up and get rid of all the junk we don't need.
Co-founder of the recycling center says that 80% of e-waste gets dumped in landfills. The other 20% gets shipped overseas or into the hands of companies that don't properly dispose of it.
We either will take it apart and even break it down further into the commodities that it is, or we put it together and send it off to larger companies that have huge shredders. Then we'll shred it apart and recycle it down from there.
Stokes founded Isidore to employ people in the community. This is how Erica Grigsby got involved.
Recycling, not dumping it in the ocean or sending it over to China, so it's doing a good cause.
It does two good things. One, make sure that the e-waste does not end up in the landfills and pollute our water and our environment. And two, it gives people a second chance at a job and a productive life.
To learn more, visit IsidoreRecycling.com. In Echo Park, I'm Melanie Shale for Valley View News.
One man likes Chinese food so much that he's eaten at over 6,000 Chinese restaurants and has an Excel spreadsheet to prove it. David Chan is a third-generation Asian American. He's made a name for himself listing what he considers the best Chinese restaurants in LA. He came to this kind of late in life. Chan says he never liked Chinese food when he was a kid. One more odd thing about him, Chan still does not know how to use chopsticks.
A Kansas woman and her daughter were in for a shock when they went to a restroom at a local circus. A tiger was waiting in the bathroom nearly 2 feet away from them. The tiger escaped from the main ring. Staff members blocked off a door in the restroom, but left the other door open. The mother and daughter calmly walked right out and avoided any injury. The tiger was caught moments later by staff. The mother says the 3-year-old daughter was only concerned if the tiger remembered to wash his hands, or would those be paws?
Some sidewalks in downtown Burbank were transformed into colorful art, people using little more than chalk. Valley View's Julia Cook says it was a highlight of a street festival, filled with interesting forms of art.
The Burbank Arts Festival brought together artists to showcase their work. The Arts Festival paid tribute to Burbank's reputation as animation capital of the world. The artwork varied from wood-turned art to paintings to handmade decorated utensils to street art.
4 blocks of downtown Burbank were shut down for this event. With various forms of art, the street chalk murals attracted a large crowd.
Self-taught artist Oscar De Leon says he has been an artist all his life.
This is my
original language to express my ideas, my feelings, my goals to the other people so we can understand one each other.
Many observers admired the street art that was displayed along San Fernando Boulevard. Jillian Walmsley talks about what she liked most about the chalk art.
I think it's beautiful, like, especially with among like the other artists along the way. Like, this guy, he has an amazing composition and his blending is beautiful. Like, I don't know, and it's just cool to see him like all dirty and stuff too. It's just like he's getting into it and it's awesome. Like, he's really passionate about it, you can tell.
Artist Randall Williams explains the techniques behind chalk art.
It's pretty much the same as working on paper. It's just that the street is a lot more rough. So you have to work a lot slower because once the street fills up, then it's just going to blow around. So what you do is you work really slow and you work the chalk in with your fingers, or you can use different types of packing material and things like this to actually work it into the ground slowly and then work layer by layer by layer.
It's really cool to see a lot of people, the styles they like to do and the crafts that inspire them, I guess. So it's fun to come see what inspires them and kind of get inspired yourself.
The Burbank Arts Festival is a biannual event. The next festival is expected to be in the fall. Reporting from downtown Burbank, I'm Julia Cook, Valley View News.
Summer is on the way, and many Southern Californians are heading to their backyard pools. Valley View News reporter Malcolm Hoyle has the story on a woman who is helping make it a little safer for babies this swimming season.
This may look like a normal swimming lesson, but this is much more than that. With Mom watching, Emerson Lung is learning how to survive a fall into the pool. Andrea Berman is the founder of LA Water Babies and an infant swim resource instructor. She teaches toddlers survival skills in the water.
We teach them how to swim, float, swim. So they learn how to hold their breath. Then they learn to swim, to grab a wall, to grab the step, to get themselves out.
ISR instructors are trained in both first aid and CPR and are required to keep both certifications up to date. Berman says these lessons teach children to rely on themselves in the water.
This training is important because it teaches children how to problem solve in the water in a situation. If they trip and fall, if they slip off the step, it will teach them how to get to that floating position so someone can rescue them out of the water.
The U.S. Consumer Products and Safety Commission says drowning is the leading cause of accidental death for kids 4 and under. Almost 70% of these drownings happen in a pool, and a child can drown in the time it takes to answer your phone. For Ashley Lung, this information is a big reason why she signed her daughter up for lessons.
Every one of our neighbors, in California, everyone has pools. So even if you don't have one in your backyard, you don't know that your children aren't going to be at a house where there is one. So it was really important to me that she would know what to do and could get to the side and be able to stay afloat and breathe until someone could get to her.
As a mother of a young child herself, Berman can relate to these worries. This is why she says it is rewarding to teach these skills to youngsters.
And I'm teaching these children how to rescue themselves, which is the greatest thing. There's tons of satisfaction in knowing that you can help give a child rescue skills to save themselves.
In Westlake Village, this is Malcolm Hoyle for Valley View News.
Thank you for watching this edition of Valley View News. I'm Ashley Luke.
And I'm Gina Hernandez. Have a good day.